Hi guys, glory to Jesus Christ. So welcome to the second installment of Serial Killer Quotes. This video I want to talk about H. Holmes. Was an American serial killer. He was originally from New Hampshire, but he built this murder hotel or murder mansion in Chicago. This was in the middle portion of the latter half of the 19th century. And he was proven to have killed 27 people, but his actual body count may be upwards of 200. Very, very depraved dude. Like with all the serial killers in these videos, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about their crimes. I don't like smearing that stuff around. If you feel a compulsion to learn about them, go to the Google. You'll find more than you want to know. Anyway, H. Holmes said the following. I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than a poet can help the inspiration to sing. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor beside the bed where I was ushered into the world, and he has been with me since. Okay. There's a lot of truth in that statement. But it's covered with lies. Satanic lies. H. Holmes probably believed everything that he said in that quote. He wasn't born with the devil in him. Okay, that doesn't happen. But to say that he was at the bedside is quite accurate, because we are born with good souls, but we are born with an inclination to do terrible things. All of us. We are born with the inclinations to sin, and most people don't like to admit this. But if you're being really honest with yourself, most of us have come pretty close to doing some horrible things. Maybe just in a split-second crime of passion type way. I'm not saying that most of us want to be serial killers, but there but the grace of God go we, right? Because that potential is there. We look to the earth because of the kinship. So, the big problem comes when he says, I could not help the fact that I am a murderer. That's not true. It's very popular, especially now, to be a victim or to have some kind of a syndrome or an illness, psychologically, that relieves you of responsibility. Oh, I couldn't help myself. That's crap. Of course you could. The only person that made H. Holmes murder people was H. Holmes. And it's this lack of accountability, this lack of readiness to accept any kind of responsibility that really plagues each of us, and it plagues the society. I was thinking about this recently, that I found there's two kinds of inmates. And I'm talking about from the county jail all the way to death row. There are the people, and there's very few of them, who understand, okay, I made some really bad choices. And I own those, and I'm going to try to do better, regardless of if that means living life in prison or getting out in a week. The point is, the people who are going to be spiritually successful are the ones who acknowledge their wrongdoing. Okay. Yes, I know there's innocent people in prison. But none of us are really innocent, you know. So this is a life lesson. This isn't so much a prison lesson as a life lesson. But I've met a couple people who I really feel very good about their chances of success in the long term, because they don't try to explain away their behavior. Unfortunately, most of the people that I encounter do the opposite. The human brain has a spectacular ability to rationalize its choices and to rationalize behavior. And that's extremely dangerous, because it implies a kind of relativism where, well, as long as I can kind of spin it, it's okay. Well, God doesn't play like that. God doesn't care about our excuses. He cares about, did we make good choices with good intentions? Right? So that's the crux of this H. Holmes business. I couldn't help it. Don't believe a word of that. Don't believe a word of it. But he is revealing the truth here. That all of our worst proclivities to sin, our worst inordinate attractions to sin, regardless of what the sin may be, if it's sexual, if it's greed, if it's lying, stealing, what have you. Those seeds are with us from a very young age. But we have free will, friends. And so each of us has the ability, starting right now, to say, no more. I'm not settling for yesterday's garbage. I'm going to make better choices. And I need God's divine grace and help and protection to do that. You know those bumper stickers, God is my co-pilot? I hate those. God isn't my co-pilot. God is the pilot. There's only one, and it's him. Okay? And I'm maybe serving drinks in the galley or loading the airplane baggage or something, or maybe I'm even just a passenger, right? God is the one at the wheel. And that's the only way that we can get away from this. I couldn't help myself. Doesn't matter if we're talking about murder, doesn't matter if we're talking about stealing a piece of gum from the corner store. The point is that if we conceal our sin, it will eat us alive. What does Isaiah say? If we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. But if we confess our sins, God, who is faithful and just, will forgive our sins and will cleanse us from unrighteousness. So, bringing those sins to light, bringing those inclinations to light, bringing our filthy thoughts to light, is very important. Because if we don't do that, we don't kind of bring them into the light and let them dry up and shrivel away, they will fester and rot and grow and kill us spiritually. And a spiritual death, you don't want to play around with that one, because that's an eternal death. So anyway, a little kernel of wisdom from H.H. Holmes wrapped in a lot of bull. That's it for this edition of Serial Killer Quotes. Thank you for watching. God bless you all, and I will see you guys in the next clip. Bye-bye.